This week versus New Orleans, we're going to find out how much the coaching changes this offseason actually mattered. Dallas still stinks. Yo, by the way, Kick Dingbat here, and yes, this game versus the New Orleans Saints is a huge game because this game is going to tell us a lot about this team. Did they do the right thing in changing coaches? Kellen Moore, Vic Fangio. These are experienced coaches that should be able to fix a lot of the problems that we saw last week. Do the players listen to the coaches and to each other in the locker room? Last year, we heard a lot of great things about how they got to do this and how they got to do that, but every week towards the end of the year, it was the same thing. How have things changed? This is going to be the question for the Eagles. If they go in and they beat the New Orleans Saints, we are right back on track. Actually, I'll say this. The next 2 weeks are very important for me to see how this team responds to what happened on Monday night. And before we get into the New Orleans Saints game, I do want to talk a little bit more about the Falcon game because we're hearing a lot of talk about Nick Sirianni and his decision to go for the 3 points at the end of the game instead of going for it when it would have been 4th and 3. If you guys remember, we're down 18-15. It was 4th and 3, deep in Falcons territory. Barkley had just dropped the ball. Clock had stopped. And many people say, listen, you should have gone for it right there. And to be quite honest with you, I can see both sides of the argument. I really can, okay? My first thought overall was I was surprised everybody's talking about that field goal instead of the one in the first quarter where he should have just took the 3 points and we wouldn't be having this problem. But I kind of can see where people are coming from. You're up 3, and if the Falcons stop you on 4th and 3, they still have to go kick a field goal to tie the game. That means they're most likely going to be a lot more interested in getting into position to kick 3 than try to go win the game. And if they do kick the 3, it's only tied. You get the chance to go down and win it by a field goal, and if not, you end up in overtime. So I totally get it, and it's not a bad decision, but at the same time, I understand the reason why you kick the field goal there, because you go up 6 and you force them to have to score a touchdown, then kick a field goal. You have to go much further to score a touchdown. And if you remember the way this defense played, they played good in the red zone. The one thing that they did do a good job of was coming up and getting tight in the red zone. So I can kind of see both sides of it. I'm personally, I'm not going to kill Nick over that. I'm more shocked that he didn't kick the field goal early in the game. But if you're going to be aggressive, yeah, you would think you'd be aggressive late in the game. If the Eagles just run Barkley, you probably get a first down. And if you don't get a first down, you're probably, 4th and 1, and you can do a push-tush and seal it. So, yeah, a lot of second guessing going on, no doubt about it. But, why were we even in that position? That's my whole thing. We just had so many different mistakes throughout the game. And I got to tell you, that game the other day reminded me of that Seattle game. That's what it felt like. Late in that game, it felt like that Seattle game. And when you look at last year and you look at the end of the season, we kept blowing leads in the 4th quarter, and we did it again. So, one of the things we did this all season was we said, all right, well, we need a new offensive coordinator. We need a new defensive coordinator. These guys are too young, too inexperienced. Let's get some coaches in here that have experience, that kind of know how to get things back on track when stuff goes off course. So now we're in a situation where we're going to play a team that has scored 40-plus points in its first 2 weeks, has a fantastic running game, has protected their quarterback really, really well, and they've got receivers. This New Orleans team is explosive, and they just destroyed the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. And New Orleans is always tougher at home than they are on the road. If the Eagles find a way to pull this game out, we're right back on track. I mean, it will be a huge win for the Eagles because the Saints, they look good. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. It's surprisingly how good they look, but they look good. So the Eagles have they have a lot to prove this week, and I really think the next 2 weeks are really important for the Eagles. Let's say, worst case scenario, the Eagles show nothing versus New Orleans, and then they lose that game, and then they go into Tampa, and they lose that game, and they just show nothing. It's the same old thing over and over again. It's rinse and repeat. The Eagles go in the bye at 1-3. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm just going to be honest. I would not be surprised if they fired the head coach at that point. I really wouldn't. I'm not saying they're going to. I'm not saying I've heard anything. Nothing like that. I'm just saying, if you show no life the next 2 weeks, and it's just like last year at the end of the year, I think it's going to be a big problem. You've changed offensive coordinator. You've changed defensive coordinator. And I could see a situation where the Eagles get very, very frustrated. You got to win. In my opinion, you need to go at least 1-1 over the course of the next 2 weeks. All right, if you could do that, you'll be fine. But even more than winning, I really think you got to just show something. You got to show some fight. You got to show that you can adjust. You got to show that your defense can stop the run and pressure the quarterback. These are going to be the things that we want to see. The big silver lining in this whole thing, I really think, okay, is the fact that last year when we were 10-1, we won a lot of these games like we just did with Atlanta. We won close games. We won them at the end. And, we put a lot of wins together which could have gone the other way really, really easy. At the end of the year, they did start to go the other way. Maybe when we were 10-1 and we were just pulling games out by the skin of our teeth, maybe, just maybe, this team, took it for granted that they were winning all these games, refused to kind of look at themselves, address where they needed work and help because they were winning games. So everything kind of got swept under the rug. Maybe with the loss early in the year, it'll force this team to have to take a look at itself early on, and they can make the adjustments. We still have time, okay? This is not like the end of last year. The problem with the end of last year is once it started to go, we had no response. And we heard great, each week, last week going, oh yeah, listen to that press conference. They know what they got to do. They're going to fix it. And I thought, yeah, they're going to fix it. They're going to fix it. They never fixed it. They never fixed it. It was just the same thing. And it got to the point that when you took the field against the Cardinals, I knew they were going to lose. You could feel it. When they played the Giants the second time, you knew they were going to lose. When they went into Tampa Bay, you knew they were going to lose. You knew they were done. You could feel it after that Seattle game. Maybe by having all these issues early on in the season, maybe that will help us and benefit us in a way where we have to address these problems now instead of just kind of ignore them because, gosh, you're just winning every week, even though you're winning close games. So I'm hoping that that's going to be the benefit. Now, we got a lot of things that got to get fixed, especially that pass rush. The pass rush and being good against the run. We got to get Jordan Davis going. We got to get Jalen Carter going. Those guys have to be good up front. Stop the run, force Carr to have to go and make throws, and then you're going to have to get pressure. And I'm really curious to see what Vic Fangio does, because Vic Fangio surprised me in the second half of that game. I really thought they were going to change up this defense, start blitzing more, start doing things like that to get pressure on Kirk Cousins, and they really didn't seem to do anything. They really didn't seem to make much of any adjustments. So what are they going to do versus the New Orleans Saints? If the Eagles go in and beat the Saints, I'm telling you, we're back on track. We are going to feel great about where we are. We're going to say, yeah, damn it, we let that Atlanta game slip away. It sucks what happened, but we are going to feel a lot better about where we are. And the truth of the matter is I think that we are going to find out how much has really changed since last year. How much is different? Or is this just the same thing with different coaches? Is this a head coaching problem at the foundation and that you can't get you can't change it until you change him? Is it the players just aren't that good? I mean, right now, if you look at Bryce Huff, he don't look like he should be anywhere near starting. He looks like a practice squad player. I mean, he's getting criticized not only for playing bad, but lack of effort. I mean, you just got paid all that money, and they're talking about his lack of effort. That is not a good thing, But the way I see it is there's a silver lining at the end here right now. The Eagles, they lost a big game. Well, not big game, but they lost a game early in the year. And now they are going to have to look at themselves in the mirror. They are going to have to figure out what's going on. And this may benefit us in the long run. It's all how you take advantage of it. That's what it's going to come down to. So we're going to find out this week what this team does, because I think this game is going to tell us a lot about the coach, about the quarterback, about the coordinators, and where we are. And I'm not even saying, of course I want to win the game, but I'm not even saying you have to win the game, but you have to show something. You have to show signs of life. I want to see a heartbeat. You know what I mean? I want to see coaches that are making changes and figuring it out. We didn't see that at the end of last year. I expect to see that this week versus Saints. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's Howie Vision, baby. We're all just living in it. I really hope that this week we're going to actually see the Eagles go out there and play Jalyx Hunt. I mean, it's time to get him on the field. It's time to find ways to get Isaiah Rodgers on the field. More Cooper DeJean. Let's get these guys on the field. Let's get them playing. There's no way that Jalyx Hunt could go out there and be any worse than what we've seen from Bryce Huff. It's just impossible. I say let's give this kid a chance. Maybe he'll surprise us. Maybe it'll show that he's not ready yet. That's fine. We don't expect him to be ready anyways. But it can't hurt at this point to put him out there. We've got to find a way to get pressure on the quarterback. With that said, Denzel Washington out.
Hi, Michael Anthony, Fitness here, MAF.
That's all, folks.